I'm sorry, I missed one number, $1.4 billion, because it's $140 billion a year for 10 years. And then our storm drains, sewer system, and water pollution control plant under that same time period need $1 billion worth of work. $2 billion plus $1.6 billion plus $1.4 billion plus $1 billion. That is the size of the city of San Jose's problem. It's a big problem. So what are we doing about it? That's the key question. What are we doing about it? Fortunately, I'm thankful almost every day I go to work, and even more so when I read our budget documents, that we have Chuck Reed as our mayor. Because we have a mayor, finally, that gets it. We have a mayor who is taking the bull by the horns and wrestling it to the ground, saying we're not just going to ignore this and let things happen. And fortunately, there's 3 other council members that are consistently with the mayor, me, Pierre Luigi, and Sam Liccardo, on budget issues. I gotta emphasize on the budget issues, where we all work together to solve this problem. And recently we've had 2 other council members, Madison Nguyen, our vice mayor, and Rose Herrera, the Evergreen council member, who have come on board. So the good news is we got 6. 6 on the side of reform. And 6 is a magic number in San Jose because we have 11 people on our council, and you need 6 people to accomplish anything. That's how we've been able to take pension reform and bring it right to the front, get it right on the plate of the council and say we must deal with it now. And you will see, you have seen in the paper, and you'll see more coming, that we're pushing pension reform. We're gonna have a ballot measure that goes out to the voters, hopefully in March, no later than June of next year, so that we can hopefully once and for all put a serious change to our pension system. That alone will help us, because that escalating costs will be capped. We aren't going to get rid of the liability that's behind us, but we will cap it. On our healthcare issue, we found out doing some research that in 1984, which was a long time ago, the city and the unions had made an agreement to fund the healthcare liabilities on a 50-50 split. The problem is nobody started to fund it. Everybody decided that we didn't need to worry about it. Our council was able to go and get every single union on board to start paying their bill. So that $1.64 billion liability got cut in half, because we have the employees paying for their half that they should have always been paying for. The problem is we put it off for, 30, however many years that is, a long time. When I'm dealing with the millions, doing a couple of years is hard for me to calculate. So we finally are paying for it, but we have to make up for that generation of employees that we missed, the generation of employees that didn't pay a dime towards their health care, that will be getting health care for life. So that is a huge, huge step in the right direction. And I'm very confident that with Mayor Reed and the other fiscal conservatives, some of them more recently newfound fiscal conservatives, better late than never, that we are working on getting each one of these issues tackled so that we can correct the issues going forward and make sure that when we leave office, which is 3 years, 5 months, 1 week, and 5 days from today, we will have some of these issues cemented into our charter and into the law, so that the following councils have to follow that and fix the problem for the city of San Jose. Because I grew up here. I've been in San Jose since 1977 when my parents moved here from Michigan. And San Jose is a great place. It has so many good things going for it. The only problem is it's had screwed up leadership for a while. And we made promises, we as an organization, not we because I didn't vote for them, but we as an organization made promises that we simply can't keep. And a lot of times the unions will come to me and say, well, it's not fair, you made a promise. And I'll tell them, you know what, we did. But just like when I promised my kids that I was going to take them to Disney World, if you can't afford it, you have to feed your kids, because that's a higher priority than taking them to Disney World. So this year, my kids might go to Great America instead of Disney World. And if it gets worse next year, we might go to the park at the corner. Because that's what you do when you're a responsible adult, is you make sure that the health and welfare issues are taken care of first, not the luxury items. And that's what we have to continue to do in San Jose. You know, believe it or not, even though we've gone to the voters a couple of times and gotten very positive, overwhelming support from the residents of San Jose, despite the fact that we do poll after poll that show 7 or 8 out of every 10 people in the city agree with the direction the mayor and the council majority now are going. Even though Mayor Reed has an 80% approval rating, we still have council members that vote against on the dais the exact reforms the voters voted in the ballot box, because they still don't think we're gonna have a problem. In fact, one of our council members, I was very irritated today when I got forwarded an email. What group was that? MoveOn.org. How can I forget? I'm trying to block them out of my mind. But MoveOn.org is promoting Ash Kalra, District 2 council member, and his online petition to prevent the mayor and the council, me and the others, from destroying and eliminating collective bargaining and tearing apart the unions, which would be okay. I wouldn't mind taking the hits if that's what we were actually doing. But he's doing that at the exact same time that we have our negotiators sitting at the table with our unions, working with them to fix the problem. Because face it, if you're a city employee and you've worked for the city for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, or you're like me and you worked there for a long number of years and you left the city, isn't it in your best interest to make sure that the pension fund is solvent? Isn't it in your best interest to make sure that the city doesn't go bankrupt and you lose every penny that you paid into it? Because our employees do pay in. It's not like we're paying all of it for them. Well, we're paying almost all, but they're paying some in. And when they're 80 years old or 90 years old, and they need to go to the doctor or they need to pay their rent or their assisted living, wouldn't it be nice to know that the pension's still going to be there, that they paid into and that we paid into? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to not only protect the welfare of our employees, but we're also trying to protect the welfare of 1 million residents at the same time. That's not destroying unions. That's looking for solutions, and that's looking for a way to be responsible adults. So I think what Ash Kalra is doing is reprehensible. In fact, you heard them talking about Brian Sussman. For those of you early risers, 6:37 a.m. you can listen. I'll be talking to Brian about this particular issue with Ash and Move On and their attempt to really distort and manipulate the message going out to the people in the city. Because it's really easy to throw insults and hurl mud when what we're doing is really trying to be responsible adults and fix things once and for all. So that's what's going on in San Jose. It's bad, but it ain't Detroit. It's bad, but it ain't Cleveland. We're San Jose, and we got a lot going for us. And I know there's a lot of you here that don't live in San Jose, but you should really be worried about what happens in San Jose, because we are the anchor of the South Bay. We are the 800-pound gorilla of Silicon Valley. And whether you like us or not, if San Jose goes bankrupt, our airport closes. If San Jose goes out of business and all the technology companies leave San Jose, they're not going to leave San Jose to go to Santa Clara or Sunnyvale. They're going to leave out of state because they got a whole bunch of other problems with our state. We don't need to give them any more reasons to leave. And if San Jose goes bankrupt, every other city in this county, Alameda County, and San Mateo County is going to be in a world of hurt. That's why what we're doing is so important. And while it's hard every morning to go to work knowing that all you're doing is getting assailed by people who just don't understand, I was telling the mayor the other day is, you know, a decade, 2 decades from now, people are going to be able to point back to 2010, 2011 and say that's when San Jose's ship was turned. That's when San Jose came out of fiscal wreckage and rebuilt itself. And that's what makes it a pleasure to go to work every single day and keep tackling these issues. So that's where San Jose is, and I can answer as many questions as still levy in the time we have.